Good morning, and welcome to Minerals, Rocks, and Fossil Talks. I'm your geology teacher, Jen, and it's Throwback Thursday. Let's learn about Continental Drift. Back before there was the theory of plate tectonics, there was the theory of continental drift. Almost as soon as maps were invented, people noticed how certain continents looked like they could be pieced together. In 1800, Alexander von Humboldt noticed that the west coast of Africa and the east coast of South America seemed to fit together pretty well. Antonio Snyder Pellegrini, a French geographer and geologist in the 1800s, noticed that North America and Europe had coal deposits with identical plant fossils. He said that could be explained if the two continents had been joined. He even drew his own map of how he thought the world would have looked had they been pieced together. I must say his spatial awareness, not the best, but he got the idea across, so, I think it works. Mostly. Of course, the most well-known of the geologists to bring up continental drift was the one and only Alfred Wegener. Born in 1880 in Berlin, he would become a very important figure in 20th century science. He was primarily a climatologist, but his fieldwork led him to some very big ideas. He, too, noticed how the land masses seemed to fit together. This is the global map that he drew to demonstrate the shifting patterns. And so we can see, this looks very similar to the maps that we use now to teach continental drift and plate tectonics. Dude was onto something. He did more than just look at maps, though. He analyzed both sides of the Atlantic Ocean, so he physically went to these places. He found matching rock types, he found matching geologic structures, and he found matching fossils, as shown by this map here. So he was putting a lot of pieces together, and he was like, this has to be what happened. However, the biggest issue he had when he brought this up is that he had no method. He could not explain how these continents had drifted apart. And unfortunately, he would never know the mechanism as it was discovered in the 1960s, about 20 years after he had died. So, he was right, but he didn't know how he was right. And that must have been very frustrating. Now, if you want to know more about Alfred Wegener and his theory of continental drift, make sure you check out my mini Geology 101 lessons on Patreon. And make sure you tune in tomorrow for Fossil Friday, where we're going to talk about Lystrosaurus. Fossilize you later.